Cloudy and chilly in eastern Nebraska today as two exciting squads full of promise and talent meet in an early season test. From Caniglia Field in Omaha, Nebraska, it's Union Omaha and North Carolina FC. It's USL League One soccer on ESPN+. I'm Donnie Barnes. Let's see how the League One standings are shaping up in these very early stages. The Owls coming off a flying week in which they upset El Paso in the Open Cup and then went out west and beat Central Valley Fuego 2-0 for their first league win of the season. They want to build on that tonight and start really generating momentum. NCFC, meanwhile, coming off a 1-1 draw with Charlotte in their first Dogwood derby of the year. They've added so many high-end pieces to their roster this season. Could be one of the favorites come November, which makes this a fascinating matchup. For the Owls, we keep our eyes on Steven Dos Santos, who scored in both the Cup and the League last week. This was his goal to clinch victory at Fuego. Nice finish at the near post after a great through ball from Alex Steinwasser. 69 USL Championship goals to his name. He's already off the mark in League One. Head coach Dom Casciato has been equally impressed by his work ethic and attitude and personality so far, adding a new dimension to this Owl attack. We'll see how NCFC handle him today, and they, meanwhile, have Olex Anderson manning their front line. He laid off a neat assist to Rafa Menzingen a couple weeks ago, and then he scored his first of the year last week against Charlotte Independence. Off the deflection, this is a trickier finish than it looks like. From a bad angle, off a high bounce, able to steer it home for his first of the year. 7 goals and 4 assists last year, a former MLS Cup winner with Seattle Sounders. We'll see how he leads the line in this pacey and dynamic NCFC attack today. Omaha won the league title in 2021. They want to return to prominence this year. North Carolina finishing bottom of the table each of the last 2 years, but have sent a message with their new roster that they mean to be formidable in 2023. A fascinating April measuring stick for both these squads on a chilly afternoon. Starting 11s and kickoff next.
Bags are packed, are you ready to go? This time tomorrow we'll be on the road, riding with you in the sunnier days. I wouldn't want it any other way. Home is with you wherever that may be.
There is the procession onto the pitch. NCFC and Union Omaha getting set for action here this afternoon, with North Carolina looking to get back in the win column after 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 defeat in their first 3 league matches. Union Omaha playing just their 3rd league game. They had one postponed, remember, in Knoxville a couple weeks ago. Here are your starting 11s today, presented by Rotella's Italian Bakery. And we begin with the home side, Union Omaha, as they will line up, we believe, in a 3-5-2 today because there's no JP Skiers amongst their 18. A normal starter for them. No word as to why he's not in the 18 today, but not available apparently. And so in his place, Steven Dos Santos in the starting lineup today, having scored the 2 goals in his last 2 games. Also, a drop to the bench to Stefan Mueller, and in his place, Marco Milanese is in the lineup today, the Italian. A great talent, and we keep an eye on Noe Meza as well, off the mark with his first goal of the season last week against Fuego. For the visitors from North Carolina FC today, they will be wearing their red kits, and they list their lineup as a 4-4-2. It often can look more like a 4-2-3-1 with young 17-year-old star prospect Nicholas Holiday in goal for them, a guy who may well move over to Europe in a year or so. One of the top prospects in USL League One. And Rafa Menzingen, a key offseason acquisition, had a great year with Chattanooga Red Wolves last season. And Rafa off the mark with his first goal against Lexington last week. So those are the 11s today for these two sides. And there you see North Carolina in what is now a bit of a driving rain. It was overcast for much of the morning and afternoon. Now the rain has started right at game time. Omaha getting no breaks in their game day weather so far this year, either in the league or in the cup, as it has been chilly and cold. There was snow before their first home match of the year a couple weeks ago. There is the opening whistle from Jervis Aragana, and here we go on this Saturday afternoon. Union Omaha and NCFC, two sides with very new and very high expectations in 2023, both looking to make an early statement today. An early touch for Rashid Nuhu, as the Owls listing their starting lineup in a 3-5-2 formation today. Because of those changes, and an early turnover and maybe an early chance for North Carolina. It's Olex Anderson, crowded out, goes down, penalty. 30 seconds in, North Carolina will have a spot kick and a golden chance to take an immediate lead. And it's Olex Anderson as Luis Heel is down off the ball. Boy, what a nightmare start for the home side. And it could be a dream start for North Carolina FC. But Luis Heel stays down, and referee Jervis Aragana making a big call right away. Now, Luis Heel, you see them examining, looks like that right foot or ankle. It is suddenly a very slick surface with this rain pouring down. Rain just started a couple minutes ago. Let's see the penalty again. There's the initial challenge. Heel goes over, and it rolls to Olex Anderson. And it's the challenge from Marco Milanese, just in the starting 11 today, and immediately whistled for an infraction in the box. Would love to see another look at that penalty in just a moment. There you see referee Jervis Aragana. At full speed, you could certainly see why the penalty was given. You see it back, the contact looks a bit more minimal, but after the attention to Luis Heel, it is Rafa Menzingen who's going to step forward and place the ball on the spot, with Rashid Nuhu taking up as much time and playing as many games as possible. Nuhu has saved a penalty against Central Valley Fuego. He saved a penalty in the Open Cup to beat Chicago Fire last year. It's Rafa Menzingen, and it's 1-0 NCFC. He sends Nuhu the wrong way and sends the visitors into a third-minute lead. Second goal of the season for Menzingen, and he and North Carolina FC couldn't have dreamed of a better start. Great run-up, great penalty. And the celebration merited. Nuhu trying to make his big presence felt, but Menzingen was having none of it. And the guy who scored the playoff winner for Chattanooga to oust Union Omaha in extra time in the first round of the playoffs last year, immediately on the score sheet against them in their subsequent meeting, even though he's playing for a different side now. Well, Union Omaha have hardly touched the ball in the first 3.5 minutes. They're down a goal already. And an interesting test of early season character for them. Alexis Suahi playing it back to Nuhu. Good to see Luis Heel back on his feet and able to continue. The Owls combining neatly through the midfield, and here they come for the first time. Joe Gallardo trying to feed it in the direction of Steven Dos Santos. Omaha's back line had looked very solid against El Paso in the Cup, and then against Central Valley Fuego last week. Even though Fuego had a lot of the ball and had a lot of shots, Omaha generally able to limit the quality of those chances against. Having to shift more to a back three today in the absence of J.P. Skierce, who'd been playing in that holding midfield role for them. And immediately results in a penalty conceded and a goal conceded. That centering attempt, couldn't find anyone in red. Good body by Noe Meza, and then Heel is bundled over, and that's a foul, and it's going to be the first booking of the match. Chris Lou Young, who is starting at right back again for NCFC today in place of DJ Benton, who got the nod last week but was shown a second yellow and therefore a red in the 90th minute and is suspended this week. So Chris Lou Young slotting back into that right back spot and immediately picks up a booking of his own just 5 minutes in. It is a Hale Varsity Club yellow card. Both these teams very dangerous in transition. If you turn it over in the middle of the park and allow them to counter you, they can hurt you severely. And Omaha drawing a card from their first transition chance of the match. Taking an early yellow, especially in these wet conditions today, not at all what you'd like to do. Chris Lou Young's going to have to be very careful for the rest of the day. And going into challenges on a slick surface, easy to miss time, easy to overslide, easy to catch somebody even when you're not meaning to. Catch someone enough to draw a second yellow, you're off and your team's down to 10. Here's Palacios now. Gallardo, that is. Gallardo serving it in. Stabbed away a bit unconvincingly, but finding teammates in red. Omaha responding decently well to that goal conceded, but here goes Menzingen, taken off his toes by Luis Heel, tracking back really well to prevent Rafa Menzingen from rampaging forward, which he is always very capable of doing. It was a slaloming run through the midfield last year in the playoffs, which Rafa Menzingen eventually finished with a bending shot from just outside the penalty box. Extra time to eliminate Omaha. I'm sure the Owls who were with this team last year all remember that vividly, and Luis Heel was not about to let that repeat. It is Menzingen's early penalty, which was awarded in the first minute, scored in the third, and now slotted through. And here's Anderson with Nuhu off his line. Nuhu able to get there first. Anderson claiming a penalty, and this time referee Jervis Adagana is uninterested. Omaha unconvincing in their clearance. It's out for an NCFC throw. Breathless start to this game. We thought it might be. Again, this was not hyperbole when we started the broadcast telling you these are two teams with lots of skill and speed and attacking talent and intent. And there's Cervania sliding through a beautiful ball to Olex Anderson. Nuhu had to be quick off his line. Anderson claiming he was caught, but it did look like Nuhu got the ball. Here come North Carolina again, though. Luis Arriaga. Good step, and Nelson Flores Blanco somehow finds Arriaga eventually. Lifted in. Anderson with Nuhu stranded. It came off Nuhu last. It's going to be a corner. Oh, Nuhu slow off his line there, and Olex Anderson almost doubled NCFC's lead. Nuhu was in real trouble, and he's fortunate it deflected off his body, I believe, and spun across the end line instead of into the back of the net. So the first corner of the match, taken quickly and short, and returned, looking to bend one in, and it's on frame nearly, just wide. What a strike, not far away. That was Menzingen again. What a start he's had to this game. That was a rasping drive. Just didn't quite curl back enough to catch the inside of that far post. Well, it's been a sobering start for Union Omaha. They've had a couple moments of danger in attack, but have mostly been on the defense. Maybe caught a little bit by the pace and skill of this North Carolina FC side. This is Dos Santos using his huge frame to shield off the ball and win a free kick. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.selectsportamerica.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Dos Santos, again, tracking back to win that free kick a moment ago. That's something Dom Casciato talked to us about this week. Union Omaha's new head coach. He hasn't just been impressed by the goals Dos Santos has scored, but even more so by his work ethic and his attitude, his willingness to work hard for the team. There's moments like that one a moment ago that show that. He's not just standing at the top of the formation trying to poach goals. He's willing to work hard in the less glamorous aspects of the game. That deflected off an Omaha player last, and it's a North Carolina throw. Over 10 minutes gone. Rafa Menzingen giving NCFC the lead with that penalty. Omaha fans trying to rally their side. Still plenty of time to go in this match. Roy May's able to move under that ball and keep it in play. Chris Lou Young thought that was going out. Another breezy day in Omaha. Can't take that for granted. And Omaha playing another match here at Caniglia Field instead of their normal home park at Werner Park. Much more spacious dimensions here at Caniglia, which is the home of the University of Nebraska-Omaha men's and women's soccer teams. Much more normal pitch dimensions here than the close, claustrophobic confines of Werner Park. Now the Owls combining nicely. Here they come down the left with Marco Milanese. Slowed up a bit. Milanese forced to check back. Able to find Luis Heel. And Heel with a switch out to that far side. And then served toward the back post. And Holiday has to come and punch. Didn't get much on it. It falls to Meza. Meza's clipped cross. Flicks up in the air. Heel with the bicycle effort. And finally volleyed away by Daniel Navarro. North Carolina surviving and keeping their lead for now. Back to Nuhu, who will calm things down for the Owls. Best attack so far for the men in black and Volt. They are plenty capable of turning this one around. Shaft Brewer. That's a neat combination with Joe Gallardo. And here's Brewer now. His cross overhit. He had two, one to the near post, one to the penalty spot. That was Meza and Dos Santos. Instead, curled one that wound up back post, and there was no third runner for Omaha. And that's a foul, and a pretty obvious one, despite the protestations of Joe Brito. Had a handful of Luis Arriaga's red shirt, and that's going to be called just about every time. Not the best taken free kick. North Carolina get it back. Nelson Flores Blanco. Again, last week a 1-1 draw for NCFC against Charlotte Independence in the Dogwood Derby. They beat Lexington 2-1. They lost 1-0 to Tormenta. Into the box. Here's Menzingen trying to keep this in play, and I believe he won a corner. No, the referee says goal kick. Menzingen felt otherwise. It's another great run from him, though. Excellent first quarter of an hour from Rafa Menzingen, not surprisingly. We'll see this again, see if we can tell whether this should have been a corner or not. Menzingen trying to play that, tough to tell there, isn't it? Trying to play it off Alexis Suahi. Now a foul and a free kick. It's going to be another booking. This will be the second for NCFC. Another Hale Varsity Club yellow card. The challenge was overly robust in Jervis Adagana's estimation. Mikey Maldonado shown the caution. So Chris Lou Young and Maldonado both in the book inside 15 minutes. Something to keep an eye on. Only kind of thing that could ruin this otherwise great start for North Carolina FC today. Omaha perhaps starting to find their footing over these last several minutes. With North Carolina getting that early goal, that sets things up really nicely for them to play exactly the kind of game they want to play, especially away from home. They can sit in and defend, but then try to counter with their lightning-fast speed and ability to transition with the likes of Rafa Menzingen and Olex Anderson. From his own end line, that has to be put out for a throw by Luis Arriaga. He'd run out of room, had to take the safe option and prevent the corner. Nice turn in space. Brito keeping possession. Now Heel top of the box. It's Heel, and Holiday gets his fingertips to it. And it rolls across the end line, and it will be the first corner of the day for Omaha. Not sure if that would have crept inside the post. Don't think Heel got all of it. But Nicholas Holiday taking no chances. This was really good work to keep the ball, and then Heel might have taken a partial deflection. That might have been on frame when you see that replay. Might have spun inside the post. So the first Modelo corner of the match for Union Omaha. We wait for it to be taken while I believe that's Palacios for Omaha having a long talk with Jervis Adagana. See all those bodies crowded on the goal line. Served in by Heel into the 6-yard box. The whistle blows. Foul on the home side. And then the ball was played back toward goal, and I think that's going to be a booking for somebody. NCFC angry about that, and the yellow card is out. And the home fans protest that decision. Well, Connor Doyle shown the card. I think he's arguing that he didn't hear the whistle. Well, some referees try to keep their cards in their pocket as long as possible. They'll warn players, they'll have talks with players early on. See Doyle's reaction. Jervis Adagana doing no such thing today. He's gone straight to the pocket. Chris Lou Young and Mikey Maldonado for North Carolina. Connor Doyle now for Omaha. Right into the book in the first 17 minutes. Brewer and Brito. Very interesting to watch Omaha evolve this year, and it will continue to be. Still very early in this season, of course. That's not a good clearance. It's not a clearance at all from Nelson Flores Blanco. It allows Brewer to attack the right side. Brewer to the end line, puts in the cross somehow, stabbed away. And North Carolina able to deal with it from there. Anderson all by himself now, but has the speed to roam and outpace defenders, and Anderson keeping hold of the ball really well. Has attackers joining and finds one of them, and it flicked off Cervania, who couldn't bring it under command. Would have had a great opportunity if he could. That has to go down as a missed chance for North Carolina. It's one that few people will remember because it won't go down as an official chance or shot. But if Cervania brings that under control cleanly, it's a 2-on-2, maybe a 2-on-1, just outside the 18. See the rain still coming down. Good battled header there. And it goes out for an Omaha throw. Well, it may only be week 5 as there's another coming together on the touchline. Louis Perez guilty of the foul on Milanese. And this time just a little word of warning from Jervis Adagana. I was just about to say, even though it's only week 5, even though it's only the 3rd league game for Union Omaha and just the 4th for North Carolina FC, there is a heavy, heavy intensity to these early minutes here today. Very cliche to say that this feels like a playoff. But it does a bit, doesn't it? Here's Brito. Doyle. Palacios. Suwahi. The Omaha fans with the Union Omaha chant. That's not a good ball. Turned over to North Carolina. They work it well in a tight pocket of space. And the whistle blows things down there. Fans irate about that. North Carolina taking it quickly, and they might have something here. They would have. But again, not able to take it under control. This time Rafa Menzingen. That was more difficult. Hard pinged ball. Trying to take that down out of the air. But you're seeing the pattern of this game evolve. With North Carolina scoring that early goal in the 3rd minute after the penalty was called in the very 1st minute. It's going to be a free kick for the Owls. It's Union Omaha having the majority of the possession. And it's North Carolina sitting back a bit, but then ready to spring forward with lots of speed when the ball turns over to them. They've been more clinical a couple of times in the last few minutes. They could have been in. Owls combining pretty well down this right side. And here's Brewer. Down by the corner flag now. Shaft Brewer. Able to put it in with his left. Took a deflection. Mesa up for it. Holiday up for it. It falls to Heel. And Heel has it cleared off the line. Swung on and missed from the top of the box. And on we go. And North Carolina again able to survive. Well, Luis Heel beat everybody except for the last defender on the goal line. Omaha that close to an equalizer. Nicholas Holiday stranded a bit. Again, just 17 years old, the North Carolina FC goalkeeper. Had a bit of a nightmare at Werner Park last year as he was victimized by the first goalie goal in League One history. Kevin Piedrahita, Omaha's starting goalkeeper that day, scored in the very 1st minute. Bizarre bouncing ball on a windy day that took a bad hop in front of Holiday and bounced all the way into the net. Now again, Werner Park, a much shorter pitch. It's that kind of thing nearly impossible here at Caniglia. But Holiday, again, one of the brightest goalkeeping prospects in the country and in USL. But that decision making, when to come off his line, when to challenge for a ball, how to command his box effectively. All things he's still working on, and as head coach John Bradford told us this week, these are all things that need those million reps that can't come quickly enough. All things that will continue to come and evolve as he gains more and more game experience. That's neat footwork, and Brito trying to slide somebody in, maybe a bit too heavy for Dos Santos, and he can't quite get there. Well shielded off the ball for a goal kick. See that chance a moment ago that was cleared off the line. It started with Brewer doing really well to put in a ball with his weaker left foot, and Holiday able to punch but not getting much on it, and Heel thought he had scored, looping it over Holiday, but well defended on the line. I believe that was Daniel Navarro with the goal line clearance. One of those major acquisitions that made everybody around the league sit up and take notice over the offseason when they signed him, having played so well for Chattanooga Red Wolves last year. Home crowd giving the referee an earful as this free kick moved back by Menzingen, who I think had been told to move it back because he'd stolen a few yards. So then he cheekily rolls it out to try to steal those yards right back. All part of it. Rashid New, who's very good at doing that too on the Omaha side. Ball came up off Dos Santos. Play continues. Luis Heels had a bright start to this game. And Omaha with neat combination play through the middle. And this is Gallardo. Referee says free kick. And another card coming out perhaps. It does. Daniel Navarro, the next player into the book. But that all comes from another excellent combination through the middle of the park. That Omaha midfield looking very bright, even though they trail by a goal to nil. That Hale Varsity Club yellow card shown to Navarro. Let's see it again. Gallardo on the run. Yeah, clear foul, clear yellow. Omaha wanted advantage played. Let's see their frustration at the whistle. Instead, they set up this free kick. Looks like Luis Gil will take it. He's been taking most of their dead balls early this season. Gil pings it in. Flicked clear. Brito challenges for it. He gets bundled over. And another free kick for Omaha. This one in a much more central position. It has been a fast, physical game. These opening 25-plus minutes, they've flown by. And the pace has been flying as well. This could be Noe Meza territory. He scored from a similar distance on a free kick against FC Tucson last year. Bent it toward that far post on that occasion in front of a beautiful desert sunset. Different weather conditions today, but he and his team would love a similar result. You see Nicholas Holliday very mindful of that. He's taking away that corner, trusting his four-man wall to guard the other side of the goal. Boy, if Meza could get it up and down over that wall toward that near post, he has a lot to aim for, doesn't he? It is Noe Meza. It's on goal, but fairly simple for Holliday. Meza did clear the wall, but right to the area that Holliday had covered. Still not a bad effort, though, in these conditions. Anytime it's raining and wet and slick, you just want to get it on frame and work the goalkeeper and see if he spills it, see if he drops it, see if it slips through somehow. Holliday able to keep his body solidly behind it, which is what you have to do, especially in these conditions. Forward by Suwahi. It's not a good clearance, and Gil trying to slip through a teammate. Just a bit too much on it. Counter could be on for Anderson and Mensingen. Here is Mensingen, and Anderson will be beaten to it by Palacios, who played an awkward ball back to his keeper and knew who had to just slice it out of play for a North Carolina throw. Mensingen was going to leave it to a teammate, then takes it himself. Arriaga. Too much on it, goal kick. Well, don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club's on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Player down for Omaha again. That's Dos Santos. Good to see him right back up. Again, 69 goals in USL Championship, Steven Dos Santos. 1 in League One. And won an Open Cup play against El Paso a couple weeks ago as well. Santos joined the team later in preseason. This is going to be another free kick for Omaha. Dos Santos joined the team a little bit later. Took a little bit longer to build up his fitness than some of his teammates because of that, but now fit enough to start. And cause more trouble and havoc with his large frame and his intelligence. Free kick taken short. Palacios and Doyle. Noe Meza. Missed a couple chances in the first league game and in the Open Cup. Scored that excellent goal against Fuego to put Omaha on course for victory last Saturday. Scored 11 in all competitions last year, and a lot of times when a guy scores his first, and he gets that first to open his account for a new year, it doesn't take long for a second and a third to follow. Heel dispossessed. That was good work by Mikey Maldonado. What could it lead to here for North Carolina? They have a 2-on-3. It's Menzingen with Anderson joining. Olex Anderson just beaten to it. Good play by Suahi. Back to Nuhu, who couldn't pick it up, and then he got clipped. He's down, and another card coming out. And this is Jaden Cervania who's booked. Crowd incensed. Half an hour gone. 1-0 NCFC, but they now have 4 players on yellow cards. Well, let's look at it again. It's Menzingen, always so dangerous. Anderson almost got there. Palacios got his toe to it. Now, Nuhu couldn't pick this up because it was from a teammate. And then just sliding through Cervania. You see him immediately motioning, no, no, no. He made the most of that. Barely touched him. But he is shown a Hale Varsity Club yellow card. Looking at that one replay, you could see both sides of that. Nuhu staying down for a while. It was tough to see how much contact there actually was, but it was a bit reckless from Cervania as well. Cervania going over to try to make up with Nuhu. You see referee Jervis Adagana saying, no, 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 let's not do that right now. It's probably the right decision from the referee, since Rashid Nuhu didn't look to be in any mood to shake hands with Cervania for now. Well, some referees, when they have a game that they feel could get out of control if they don't keep a lid on it, they'll do that by trying to talk to players, having lots of conversations. Others choose to show lots of cards to force players to be more careful. And Jervis Adagana has gone the card route in the opening half an hour. And we'll see how that looks in the second half of this game. At the moment, with North Carolina having 4 of those 5 cards, it's going to force head coach John Bradford to have some thinking at halftime, you would think, and early in the second half. Which of those players on yellows, Cervania, Maldonado, Navarro, Chris Liu Young, which of them might he lift a little earlier than usual to try to prevent that second yellow? You wouldn't think it'd be Navarro. He's such a rock on that back line. You almost never sub a center back unless you absolutely have to. So you would think John Bradford would trust him as a veteran to manage that. But the other 3, Cervania, Maldonado, and Young, we'll see. Now remember, DJ Benton is suspended this week because he picked up 2 yellows and therefore a red last week. So he's not available on the bench to possibly come in for Chris Liu Young at that right back position. So that might force North Carolina to keep Chris Liu Young in there and force him to have to manage and play with that yellow for the rest of today. We'll see. Dos Santos couldn't keep that in play. Well, here's Menzingen now. Suddenly it might open up for North Carolina, but Rafa Menzingen, uncharacteristically, puts that cross way up into the heavens and out. You could watch Rafa Menzingen for a long time and not see a worse cross than that. He doesn't do that very often. His third-minute penalty continues to separate these two sides. What a good header that was by Noe Meza. Right to Luis Heel, who is then dispossessed. Gallardo's got to be careful. He almost went steaming into that challenge. He smartly pulled out of it at the last moment. Probably would have taken a card otherwise. Nelson Flores Blanco going up against Shaft Brewer. Menzingen, one touches it to Anderson. Anderson's cross in, and Nuhu smothers. There was a split second of indecision there, I think, between he and Suahi. Nuhu gave him the shout and was able to claim. Dos Santos again using his huge body to shield that ball and keep possession for his side. Switch it out to Noe Meza. Can he keep it in play? Well, when did that go out? It is an Omaha throw. Good work by Meza. If they were to somehow score at the end of this sequence, remember that work to keep that in and win the throw for his side instead of the other way around. 10 minutes plus stoppage to go until half. Bit surprising we haven't seen another goal yet. North Carolina awarded the penalty just 30 seconds into the game. Took a couple minutes to line it up and for Rafa Menzingen to dispatch it without incident. Some good chances and half chances for either side since. Omaha with good build-up and combination play, often through the midfield and down that right side. North Carolina with opportunities on the counter and in transition. Gallardo by the end line. Gallardo able to creatively put in a cross. Meza swings, and it's blocked out for a corner. What great work by Joe Gallardo. And Noe Meza feels he should have scored. It was blocked by Chris Liu Young. Otherwise, he very well may have. Watch this from Gallardo. Little step over to buy himself that room to swing in the cross. And Meza, not sure he connected totally cleanly, but I think that was still goal bound. I think that would have gotten past Holiday into the corner if Young hadn't gotten something on it. The Modelo corner then is an in-swinger right on top of goal, but again the referee's whistle blows. He was over everyone anyway, but Brito still frustrated to be penalized. Well, it may be cold and damp and windy in Omaha today, but the Owls supporters in full voice. They create a turnover here with that high press. What can they make from it? Brito. His cross blocked out. Sliding block, really well done by Nelson Flores Blanco. Brito's going to leave the throw to Shaft Brewer. Brewer looks like he's getting ready for the long throw. Launching this into the penalty box, trying to aim for the massive body of Dos Santos. That's not a bad strategy. Doesn't work, though, and that ball stayed in play. No, it didn't. Well, that's fortunate for Omaha because Olex Anderson was away otherwise. And the Owls had a couple defenders back, but with Anderson's pace and guile on the ball, that's still a situation that they don't want. That North Carolina FC very much do. Settle for a throw instead. Just turned right back over to the Owls. Chested down neatly by Gallardo. No foul there. What a take by Meza initially. Careful here. Heel able to play it off a North Carolina man. That was Perez. It's an Omaha throw. We've seen some excellent skill in this first half from both sides. Really enjoyable match in less than enjoyable weather conditions. Sometimes those two things go together, though, don't they? Sometimes you get some of the best games in less than optimal conditions. It creates some chaos. Really, these two sides, both so skilled and so quick. We always suspected it would be entertaining. Shaft Brewer. Joe Brito. Alexis Suahi, and then Junior Palacios. Omaha probing for that equalizer before halftime. Meza. Marco Milanese, who was whistled for that penalty 30 seconds in. He's responded well since. Good spell of possession for the home side. Can they create something from it? We're back onto it as he was nearly dispossessed. Gallardo now lines it up from distance. It's on target, and again, Nicholas Holiday, no issues in the end. Maybe not the most convincing take, but in these wet conditions, Gallardo doing his best to put it on frame, and doing so. Navarro. Fortunate that that second ball fell to a teammate. Into the final 5 of this first half. Not had too many stoppages. The longest stoppage we had was right after the opening whistle when that penalty was awarded 30 seconds in. Luis Heel was down for a bit. And we had to wait for the penalty to be taken. So we'll probably have a couple minutes added on for that. Not sure how much more stoppage time we would have beyond that. We'll find out in just a few. Can Union Omaha level this before the break? That would really change everything. North Carolina would love to get to that interval with this lead intact. Keep this game set up exactly the way they want it. 1-1, and it would be right back in the balance. With North Carolina perhaps not able to try to sit back and hit Omaha on the break quite as much in the second half. That's nearly turned over. What cool play. Palacios with the neat touch, and now Meza up against 3 red shirts. Stabs it out to Doyle. Doyle's cross toward that back post. Just flicks off an Omaha head. It falls to Brewer. He drills it across the face. And somebody in red able to get a foot to it to spin it away from danger. And the whistle relieves pressure for the visitors, much to the frustration of the home fans and Marco Milanese. Marco Milanese, 6 appearances for Napoli's first team. And of course the club in Italy who are about to win Serie A this year. And called for the foul on Perez. It did look like he got his foot. Milanese described as a cultured defender that can fill a couple different positions on the back line. Union Omaha head coach Dominic Casciato saw some pushing there between he and Perez. Little episode not finished just yet. Keep an eye on that the rest of this game, as long as those two stay on the pitch. Suwahi, that's neatly done. Heel, also neat. Not so much that time. NCFC create a counter here before the end of the half. They very well might. It's Luis Perez given room to line one up. It takes a deflection and winds up in the back of the net. And it's a killer second for North Carolina before the break indeed. Luis Perez, amongst the team of the week last week, back on the score sheet today. Didn't score as much as he would have liked last year. Well, that is a huge, huge one today. North Carolina FC, 2 goals to the good. Well, it just opened up for him, and the Owls backed off and invited him to shoot. Who did this deflect off? It was Palacios. Came off Palacios' arm and ricocheted down into the ground, which took it over Rashid Nuhu, who had begun to go down anticipating a low shot. Nuhu not able to get back up and spring high enough to tip that over. That is one of those. This is an artificial turf surface. It's a pretty good one, although this turf is actually going to be ripped up after this game, we've been told, and replaced with a new one for the coming college soccer season. For University of Nebraska Omaha, I mentioned this is their home pitch. So sometimes on an artificial surface, that ball does bounce. It's a little springier. A bit more basketball-like than it would be on natural grass. Would have been interesting to see at Werner Park whether that would have deflected high enough in the air to take it beyond Nuhu. Here's Heel. Owls desperate to get one back before halftime. That's not going to do it. 30 seconds of the 45 remaining. We'll see how much else is added beyond that. And at the moment, the task looking much tougher for Omaha. And the outlook even brighter for North Carolina FC. We're hearing there will be 4 minutes of stoppage time. So still some minutes to manage for the visitors to get themselves to the break at 2-0. That was almost given away by Brito. Still perhaps an opportunity for the home side to grab one back before that interval. Played through, at least attempted to be played through for Anderson, all the way through for Nuhu instead. Crowd howling about something off the ball. Player down for North Carolina. Omaha totally uninterested in putting the ball out for him. That was Jaden Cervania, who's now back up. Here's the official announcement of the 4 minutes of stoppage time. It's Doyle to the top of the area. And it turns over, and here's Anderson. Chance to run at that Omaha back line. Played it a bit conservatively this time. Laid it off for Menzingen. And then Cervania accepts in tons of space. Cervania lines it up. That's blocked by Doyle. Similar scenario to the one from which Luis Perez scored a few minutes ago, though. Pretty large pocket of space in front of that back three for Omaha at times. North Carolina FC able to find that pocket. Create some decent shooting opportunities for themselves. Well, an ideal first half so far for North Carolina. Got one right away, got another one late. Trying to see out these last couple minutes. Meza twisting and turning, keeping it really well. Brito. Omaha still plenty dangerous, very capable of scoring twice. Question is, can they keep North Carolina out the rest of this game, as well as the men in red are able to counter. Throw in deep in the attacking third. Schaff Brewer launching it toward Dos Santos, who's been really well defended in this first half, you have to say. Heel couldn't take that down well. Wanted to set himself for a shot, I think, but it ran away from him. Cleaned up by Palacios. Back for Nuhu. 90 seconds of the first half remaining. Is there another chance for somebody in this first half? Dos Santos trying to aim for Meza. That deflects and spins out. That's going to be a throw. Spun to the right of the corner flag. Omaha would have preferred it spin to the left. Final minute of stoppage time. Brewer's going to line up another long throw. North Carolina with two players around Dos Santos. Gallardo, that goes out, goal kick. And Nick Holliday is going to take as much time as possible here to try to ensure that that's the last meaningful attack of the first half. Slowly inching the ball toward that line. That's what you want your goalkeeper to do. Even though he's only 17 years old, Nicholas Holliday knows the drill. Doyle up and fouled. Final free kick of the first half. We've had the 4 minutes. Referee Jervis Adagana puts his whistle to his lips and brings this first half to an end. Again, an ideal opening 45 minutes for North Carolina FC. Rafa Menzingen from the penalty spot in the 3rd minute opened the scoring after the penalty was awarded just 30 seconds in. And then Luis Perez on a deflected effort in the 44th. Meaning at the end of 45, with 45 still to come. A cloudy, windy, rainy Omaha today. It's Union Omaha 0, North Carolina FC 2. Our Omaha La Vista Courtyard by Marriott halftime report is coming up next. News and notes from around USL League One, highlights from last week's game, and more.
My name is Yoskar Galvin. I'm a midfielder for Union Omaha. I mean, it was exciting because at first I really didn't think I was going to get schooling, but my mom was pressuring me, and obviously I pressured myself to get my studies done because it's really important to me and my family. So right now I'm trying to get my generals out of the way and try to figure out what I want to do. I want to get my minor, obviously, and then try to see if I want to do my master's, but that's just been my goal since I was a little kid in my parents' goal, my parents' dream, and that's a dream that I want to fulfill for them. And obviously playing professional and having school is just an amazing thing. I mean, getting school for free is an amazing feat, and obviously getting it from your team and just Bellevue being so supportive. I mean, every counselor, every helper for the school has been helpful a lot, and I've been learning. My name is Yoskar, and I'm a Bellevue University student.
got out on the break. Luis Perez, all kinds of space to shoot, took a deflection off Palacios, bounded over the keeper's head. Rashid Nuhu stranded a bit. You'd see him get caught flat-footed on the deflection here. He was going to ground on a low shot, couldn't get back up in time, and it nestled into the back of the net. Luis Perez on the score sheet. One at the beginning, one at the end for NCFC. And they lead by that 2-0 scoreline. Consequently, you see the first half stats presented by the Simple Man. 7 shots for Omaha, 4 on target, but Nicholas Holiday doing what he needed to do between the sticks for North Carolina. 5 shots, 3 on target, 2 in the back of the net for the visitors. You see the possession heavily in Omaha's favor. They are a much more possession-based side this year and figure to be so going forward under Dom Casciato, much more so than they were the last few years. But they need to do more in the second half, obviously, to make that possession count. One thing to keep an eye on, though, North Carolina, as you saw on that graphic, 4 yellow cards in that first half for NCFC. So lots of players on a booking. Omaha with 1 player carded. That was Connor Doyle. But NCFC with their center back, Daniel Navarro, their right back, Chris Liu Young, one of their midfielders, Mikey Maldonado, one of those attacking midfielders, Jaden Cervania, all on a booking. Omaha trying to rally themselves for a big second half comeback. They are certainly capable of scoring 2 or 3 goals. Again, as I said at the end of the first half, the question is whether they can keep North Carolina FC out, as they are so lethal on the break in this second half.
Coming onto the pitch, number 44, Raheem Somersault, replacing number 10, Jaden Cervania.
Well, Jaden Cervania has been replaced. So that's 1 player with a yellow card taken off immediately at halftime. It is Raheem Somersault who has come on in place, and an early free kick given against Omaha 10 seconds into this second half. So Raheem Somersault, the man substituted on for Jaden Cervania. So again, there's one of those 4 on a booking who is off. So now 3 players on cards on the pitch for NCFC at the start of this second half. So it is Omaha in the black with the Volt trim, attacking left to right in this second half. You see the record in points so far. Omaha 4 points from 2 games with a victory and a draw. There's a heavy collision. That's going to be a card, I believe, for Shaft Brewer. And so he'll be the second player into the book for Omaha.
Ladies and gentlemen, the yellow card has been issued to UNO Omaha number 28, Shaft Brewer Jr.
This is not the start that Omaha wanted for the second half. They wanted to get some momentum generated right away. Instead, a couple of whistles, a couple of fouls, now a booking. They have to be careful that their tempers don't boil over in this second 45. Brewer went steaming into this challenge and cleaned out Luis Arriaga. Brewer, a really promising wing player, joined the club in the second half of last year. Has earned his way into the starting 11 early on this season. Here's Raheem Somersault, his first action since coming on at half. It's kept in play along the touchline. Mikey Maldonado now trying to serve it down the line. Somersault again, that's neatly done. Good flick then. Looking for that killer third goal, bouncing around the box. Had to be flicked away by Palacios. And shouts of handball, and handball is given. Saw Gallardo kind of stick out that right shoulder. He's saying, well, I played it with my shoulder. Jervis Adagana felt otherwise. So free kick from that far side. Luis Perez and Rafa Menzingen standing around it. It's Menzingen who raises his hand. It's a 2-man wall for Omaha. Navarro standing in a bunch of space on this near side at the bottom of your picture. Who's it going to be? It's Perez delivering in. It's Somersault heading it down and touched over the bar by Nuhu. Good save to keep Omaha in it for now. Well taken free kick routine from NCFC. See, Mensingen gives the little, well, it was Perez who gave the deke and then took it quickly. And Somersault up well and play it back across the face. Spun up off David Garcia last, I think. Corner taken short. Lots of space for Chris Liu Young. His service, decent. Flipped all the way to the far side. Brito could only stab it up into the air. That's well done. It's Luis Perez. And Perez crossed this time, claimed by Nuhu. But a really good start to the second half from North Carolina FC. Nuhu trying to play that long. That's something Omaha are able to do very effectively when they're at Werner Park. We saw against forward Madison here a couple weeks ago. When they play at Caniglia, much wider, much longer field, they're not able to use Nuhu's long goal kicks and free kicks to set up those second ball attacking opportunities the way they do on that shorter pitch. Owls had a player coming from an offside position there. Gallardo had to tag up first before he could pursue that ball. Oh, Nicholas Holiday had a couple shaky moments in the first half, but you'd expect that from a 17-year-old. Otherwise, solid enough. Made the saves he needed to make. His team playing very well in front of him. Here they come again. They're in down this right side with Olex Anderson. Anderson has Mensingen. Instead plays it to the top of the area, and it spins just wide. How did Luis Arriaga miss their third? Wonderful opportunity to put this game just about to bed 5 minutes into the second half, and Luis Arriaga couldn't nestle that inside the post. Well, they were away, and Anderson, you thought maybe he'd go for Mensingen. Instead, it was Arriaga joining late, trailing the play. Well worked right up until the finish. More frustration from Omaha and from their fans. I'm not sure what the issue was there. And again, the Owls turn it over. Omaha in real danger of being blown away here early in the second half. Able to poke it free. Meza having to drop really deep to pick up the ball, but now they might have something on this left side. Gallardo trying to play it through to Dos Santos, too much on it. Out comes Holiday, but Dos Santos applauds the idea. Well, certainly still plenty of time left. If Omaha were to snatch the next goal, it would really change things. Up until that little brief flicker there hadn't been much sign of that early in this second half. It's been all North Carolina FC since the restart. Looking really confident, looking really smooth, looking really dangerous. Talked at the start about them laying down a marker, sending a message to the rest of the league that they are really here in a meaningful way in 2023 after finishing dead bottom of the league in 21 and 22. Nuhu, very calm. Well, so far, again with 38 minutes plus stoppage time still remaining, so a lot that could yet happen. But North Carolina playing extremely well. Showcasing so much of that improvement that they have made since last year. Here come the Owls, though. It's Gallardo wriggling loose. It's Gallardo with a crack. He hit the bar. What an effort. So close to a spectacular goal. Would have been one of the goals of the season. It stays 2-0. I think he hit the elbow right at the intersection of the crossbar and the post. Nicholas Holiday rooted to the spot. Absolutely nothing he could do except spectate. Bailed out by his best friend. It's been that kind of afternoon for Union Omaha so far. What a hit from Gallardo. We'll see it again in a moment. Possession sequence continuing for the Owls, though, first. Suwahi, now Heel. Touched back to Luis Heel, kept in play by Brewer. This is Gallardo again, stabbing it out to Heel. Heel's cross, punched by Holiday when he could have taken perhaps. Meza trying to take it down, and does. So the attack continues for the Owls. North Carolina would have liked to have seen Nicholas Holiday just catch that, bring this sequence of pressure to an end. Suwahi, Brewer, up against 3 defenders. Brewer being shepherded toward that touchline. Gallardo still on it. Heel, out to Brewer. Brewer's cross, miss-hit, goal kick. Disappointing end to a good sequence for Omaha that so nearly resulted in their first goal of the day. Watch this from Gallardo. Striking across it, bang. Wow, that was all bar, wasn't it? I thought initially it hit right at the angle, but it caught the bar flush just inside that upper 90. Substitution for Omaha, their first of the day. Pedro Dolabella replaces Joe Brito. Brito been playing in that deeper midfield role. Now the Owls win it straight back. Gallardo. That was off him last, and a throw for North Carolina FC. So Dolabella on for Omaha. Player won an NCAA Division I title with Marshall University a few years ago. Here he is on the ball, able to keep it alive for Suwahi. And Heel, Connor Doyle. Noe Meza, bit of a loose touch, turned it over. This is where North Carolina can be dangerous, and this is where the home fans will be frustrated again. No real argument from Noe Meza. Rafa Menzingen from the penalty spot in the 3rd minute. Luis Perez, a deflected drive from outside the box in the 43rd. That's the scoring so far. Free kick for Omaha this time. The Owls have shown that good combination play through the midfield multiple times today. You can see the system that Dominic Casciato is implementing. They are looking like a much more dynamic attacking side. They've been a bit suspect at the back today, especially in transition. Cost them late in the first half. They gave away that penalty in the very first minute that led to that goal from Menzingen. Luis Perez given the time in transition to line up that shot, which took the unfortunate deflection from Omaha's standpoint as that goes all the way through to Holiday. Connor Doyle picked up an early yellow card, so he and Brewer on cautions for Omaha. NCFC still with 3 players on cards on the pitch. Suspect this is where Dom Casciato will want his side to remain somewhat patient and trust their process. He won't want them to start playing hopeful long balls forward too much. An occasional one is okay to keep the opposition honest, but don't want that to be the majority of your attack. And here's some space on the left now. Joe Gallardo. Meza wriggling and staying in that space and staying on the ball. He's so good at doing that. Saw that many, many times last year. Keeps this sequence alive for Brewer. Again, 3 red shirts in his vicinity. Clipping it toward the back post again. Too much on it. And harmlessly out. Well, Paco Craig leads Miami FC, the Miami FC, into Kentucky to face Josh Winder and the reigning Eastern Conference winners Louisville City FC. Don't miss the start of the new season of the USL on ESPN Saturday, May 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern. on ESPN2. And Josh Winder called up to the U.S. men's national team for the first time this week, as the Owls frustrated by another call against them. Josh Winder receiving his first senior call-up. Big moment for him, big moment for the USL. Third USL player to be called up to the U.S. men's senior national team. Josh Winder, a guy who figures to head overseas on a major transfer at some point over the next year or so. Meanwhile, North Carolina FC seeking that third goal. It's Menzingen. Top of the area to Summersall. On the right it goes. Perez tumbles down, and the referee says no foul. We play on. Perez stays down. And now play is stopped, and the Owls are frustrated by that. But I think the Owls are saying, look, if you didn't think the contact was enough for a foul, then why are you stopping play when the player stays down? There was no head contact that would mandate a stoppage. But the referee, of course, still does have the discretion to stop play, and Jervis Adagano using that discretion. And these kinds of stoppages in play certainly suit NCFC, nursing that 2-goal lead. Although they are capable of those fast-pacey counterattacks, very exciting counterattacking potential in this team. In general, more of these little breaks in play and momentum to prevent Omaha from building up any kind of head of steam. It always benefits the team that's leading, especially when they're away. Frustrates the home fans that much more. Frustrates the home team that much more. Meza trying to one-touch that along for heel, but again read really well by Chris Liu Young. After picking up that very early yellow card, has hardly done anything wrong at that right back position. Good hold-up play as well by Olex Anderson. That's neat. Not the best ball forward. Cut out by Palacios. Heel dispossessed. And it spins back to Nuhu. But other than a brief flurry, and that shot that hit the post, or hit the bar, from Joe Gallardo about 8 minutes ago, not a lot in the attack so far in the second half for Union Omaha. John Bradford has his side set up very well. Try to see this game out. Still a half hour remaining, though. Heel. For a moment looked like he would win that ball. Good persistence, though, from Raheem Summersall, trying to spring another one of those counters. Put a bit too much on it from Menzingen, though. NCFC looking pretty comfortable at the moment. That can always change very quickly. Well, that's a nice ball. Second one, not so much. But again, you can see where North Carolina FC, especially when some of these new players play together more, get more game time, experience together, develop more chemistry, develop more of that unspoken understanding of what each other's going to do. Those little one-touch counterattacks are going to spring players much more often. Perez now, he had Anderson in an offside position, so smartly hung on to it. And now an acre of space down this right side. All able to be served in, back post. Menzingen was lurking. Knocked away from him by Suahi, by Brewer that is. Put back into the mix and clutched by Nuhu. Wilson Flores Blanco pinging in that second ball. More good play from NCFC. They've been absolutely terrific over these first 62.5 minutes. Look at who else the Owls have on their bench. Who else could maybe turn this game? They do have Alex Steinwasser, who's a good attacking piece. He played a killer ball for the second goal that was finished by Dos Santos at Central Valley Fuego last week. This is Heel now. Trying to hook it forward toward Dos Santos. An interesting idea. Comes to Dolabella. Clip toward the penalty spot. Out comes Nicholas Holiday. Easy take for him. Who else do the Owls have on their bench? Eddie Gordon, more of a defensive-minded midfielder. Stefan Mueller, he can get down the flank and serve balls in. He might be an option. Luca Mastrantonio is a defender. Giovanni Willis, definitely a wild card. We saw that a couple times last year if you watched Union Omaha. Didn't play a lot, scored 2 amazing goals from distance, but again, didn't play a lot. So with no J.P. Skeers today, and we're not sure why, but he was not only not in the lineup, but not in the 18, apparently not available. It's a big attacking piece, especially from set pieces that Omaha have not had today. And not just from set pieces, but his ability to get up and win initial flicked headers from long throws. Meanwhile, boy knew who had to be quick and get that right. Olex Anderson was sniffing around for a mistake. So with Skeers not being available today, it does limit Omaha's bench options. And that's probably why you haven't seen Dom Casciato make more changes so far. Just the one early in the second half. North Carolina FC subbed off Jaden Cervania at the start of this second half. That's their only change to this point. And you can understand that, since those who started the game have almost universally done so well. Look at this space for Luis Arriaga. He could have proceeded further with it. Now he has that space on the right side. Closing quickly, though. Palacios on him now. Arriaga riding his challenge as well. NCFC scored goals last year. Not as many as they would have liked. They missed a lot of chances, but they did score goals. They were always a side that was capable of scoring. It was often on the defensive side of the ball that they let themselves down last season. Much more solid so far today. And still looking for a lot more in the attack. This is Luis Arriaga. This is Luis Perez. The overlapping run, the cross, punch to the penalty spot. Menzingen swings and misses. Second ball is curled over. Mikey Maldonado, hands on head. Great chance for 3-0. Not yet. Omaha still in this game. So much space, though, for North Carolina. Perez, great overlapping run from Chris Lou Young, arriving late. Nobody saw him for Omaha. Changes now. Luis Heel comes off. Alex Steinwasser replaces him for the Owls. For North Carolina FC, you see Preston Pop about to check in, along with Garrett McLaughlin. Waiting to see who Preston Pop is replacing, along with McLaughlin. So those changes haven't been made just yet, but now they're both on. So Preston Pop is replacing Luis Perez.
And number 13, Luis Perez, to be replaced by number 19, Garrett McLaughlin, and number 88, Preston Pop, respectively. Union Omaha substitution in the 67th minute, coming off the pitch. Number 20, Luis Heel, to be replaced by number 44, Alex Steinwasser.
So NCFC with the 2 changes midway through this second half. Olex Anderson, the other player who was removed. Figured it might be him since McLaughlin is a striker. Good game from Olex Anderson. Good game from North Carolina FC to this point. Still another 22 minutes plus to see this out. It would be a big result on the road. For Omaha, I mentioned a little while ago that we might see Steinwasser before too long. Talented attacking player, capable of playing a subtle and killer through ball. Now, of course, that counter-attacking goal that Omaha scored last week was when they were leading 1-0 late on. Different prospect here. This is Steinwasser, dispossessed. North Carolina unlikely to be caught out the way Fuego were last week. And this is McLaughlin raking it across. Pop has to settle it down. Nudged outside of the box by Milanese. Good keeping of the ball by Preston Pop down by that corner flag. Does really well for Arriaga now. And now falls back to Pop. Preston Pop, it wouldn't sit down. He lays it off and Menzingen puts it over. Well, Menzingen hearing about it every time from the fans, but he won't mind that as long as his team comes out of here with 3 points. He's had a couple chances to add to his third-minute goal. This was more really good, patient possession and working of the ball around the area. Menzingen will feel he should have done a bit better with that finish, leaning back a bit. But it continues to look like NCFC looking closer to grabbing that third than Omaha are to grabbing their first and getting back in this. Well, what skill from Preston Pop. Bounce didn't fall kindly to him. What can the Owls make from this? Meza looking for his options. Nice ball for Schaff Brewer. He has two in the box. Brewer couldn't pick out either of them. Dwelt too long on the ball. Schaff Brewer's had a great start to this year, but he's not had his best game today. Bit slow in his decision making, bit errant in his deliveries. Presents another countering opportunity for NCFC. Pop looking to ping that across the face, and boy did he. Great looking ball. Garrett McLaughlin not quite able to get on the end of it. Preston Pop, a former NCFC Academy member. It's all-conference USA with UNC Charlotte. This is going to be a card to Preston Pop as he collided with Connor Doyle. And so he goes into the book, and his mouth is open in disbelief. Hill Varsity Club yellow card to Preston Pop. See it again. Maybe the high foot, studs contact. That's what the referee saw. Connor Doyle feeling the effects of that. Don't forget, later tonight, lots more action in League One here on ESPN+, 6 o'clock Eastern Time. About an hour and 20 minutes from now, Richmond Kickers, home to Northern Colorado Hailstorm. They'll go off to a good start this year. Pulled off the Open Cup upset for the second straight year over Colorado Springs. Won 3-0 at Tormenta a couple weeks ago. That's given away by Meza, one back by Pop. And Pop maybe could have fed in McLaughlin. Instead, he loses it. Ball ping-balling around in midfield. Play is stopped again. Again, Union Omaha frustrated that it was. And a little shoving between Pop and Suwahi. And Suwahi's shown the card. This is really not what you want to get involved in if you're Union Omaha. You're chasing the game. It's just slowing it down even more. That suits NCFC just fine. It's been a frustrated environment almost right from the beginning today. Since Union Omaha were whistled for that penalty just 30 seconds in. And a couple minutes later, they fell behind. First, we'll see a replay of that foul. Now, that was the coming together. That wasn't whistled. Pop stayed down, and then the whistle blew. And then the afters. Well, more home crowd frustration with Jervis Aragana. So the drop ball placed. North Carolina play on now. Goals in the 3rd and 43rd minutes for them have them comfortably in command, at least for the moment. The ball ran away from Steven Dos Santos. Has not been sticking to Omaha feet today. Preston Pop. Neat switch onto his left. Pop to the end line. His cross deflected, side netting, corner. More time off the clock. More good play from North Carolina FC. Corner served into the top of the 6, punched partially clear, and then shanked out by Luis Arriaga. Time growing short for Omaha to mount a comeback, and they've not shown a lot in this second half that would suggest that one is imminent. And it can always change in a blink. It's one of the great things, one of the excruciating things about soccer. But after a first half in which they showed plenty of flashes of danger, had a chance cleared off the line. They did have the one shot early in the second half from Gallardo that banged off the bar. Could have really changed the whole feel of this game, but an inch away. And have not been able to generate much since. North Carolina FC set up just about ideally. Omaha trying to find ways through and unable to find them so far. They win it back here. Dolabella, that's a hopeful ball. Had a lot of options shorter that he could have played, and instead tried to chip it to Meza and misfired. That's how this second half has largely gone for Union Omaha. Owls do win it back, higher up the pitch this time. That's touched by Meza. Played in low, but not with any real precision. Easily cut out. And then an errant touch. Couldn't keep the play alive. And that went off of Omaha's Marco Milanese last. It's one of those games from Omaha's standpoint that got off to such a bad start. They never had a chance to settle into the match. Gave away an immediate penalty. Now, chances on. McLaughlin to Pop, and Pop just misses the contact. Another great chance for NCFC to put this game away. Shoulder to shoulder, foul called. Palacios penalized. I think Palacios has talked himself into the book now. He wasn't going to get carded for that challenge. He does get carded for whatever he said afterward. No, Palacios feeling this challenge was clean. It's a great ball from McLaughlin. Pop just got his feet all wrong. Trying to take that with his left instead of his right and missed it. And then Palacios feeling that was a fair challenge. Menzingen going to ground. Free kick for the boys in red. All three members of Omaha's back line are on yellow cards now. Suahi, Palacios, and Doyle. Free kick by Menzingen. And put right on top of Nuhu, and on the second attempt, he's able to gather. Like a little kick out there that almost clipped him. He ignored that this time. After Union Omaha were playing through the midfield pretty well in the first half, had those nice combinations, those neat 1-2s, those good triangles. They didn't result in anything, but got themselves in good positions multiple times. That just hasn't happened in this second half. John Bradford's made some good tweaks at halftime, I think, to seal those off. And the new puzzles and challenges that NCFC have thrown at Omaha in the second half, they've not been able to solve. See the scoring summary. Menzingen in the third, Perez in the 43rd. That's out. Giveaway by Maldonado. Throw in for Omaha as we approach the final 10. This was the kind of second half that we saw more than Omaha would have liked in the second half last year. That was not the best throw. Stays in play, though. Dolabella kept it in play, but gave it away. Here's McLaughlin, chipping right through one. Now it's Rafa Menzingen for the third. Menzingen clips it wide, and it's out. Yet another golden chance for North Carolina FC to put this game away. They've just not quite been able to do it. It's still somehow alive for Omaha. Gallardo, clever feet. Oh, what a sequence that is. That's going on his highlight reel at the end of this year. Heck, it's going on his highlight reel tomorrow. Almost had one of the goals of the season early in this second half. That was one of the dribbles of the season so far. Owls need it to produce something, though, and that's not going to get it done. See that dribble, though, again. This was the chance. It was Pop initially who slid through Menzingen, and Menzingen just trying to clip it over Nuhu. Well, he did, but off target. And McLaughlin arriving at that back post just a little late. At the moment, it all feels like gravy, though, for North Carolina FC, because Omaha have shown so little danger in this second half. Meza after that. Meza showed last year he's really good at winning balls in the air, even though he's not a tall guy. Dolabella. Gallardo. Gallardo, that came off a defender. It'll be the first corner of the second half for Union Omaha. They've only had a couple Modelo corners today. This is their first since the break. That shows you how little threat they've generally been able to pose since halftime. But still 8 minutes and change to go. If they could find one here, it would set up a much more interesting finish. Much more interesting than NCFC would prefer. Gallardo takes. Lifted up really high into that afternoon sky. Flicks along for Dolabella. And not able to do much else with it. Dolabella then fouled on the edge of the box. Free kick. Menzingen, the player, whistled. Well, the Owls need something soon if they're going to have a chance at getting anything from this match today. And that's Gallardo who will stand over it. Interesting angle and spot for a free kick. It's actually inside the top of that 18. Nicholas Holliday is placed just a two-man wall. It's Gallardo off the underside of the bar and in. He beats the wall, he beats Holliday, and the Owls are back in this. Joe Gallardo, his first of the year. So close to a spectacular one earlier in the second half. Scores from a free kick now. And after they've shown very little life in this second half, life now for the Owls and their fans. Up and down, Holliday, I think, will feel he should have done better. Tried to punch it over the bar and missed. He's a bright talent, but he's just 17, and he'll have moments like that. That was one. And now it suddenly, indeed, looks like a much more interesting finish than NCFC would like. Frankly, more than it should be. Shaq Adams comes on to replace Rafa Menzingen to try to shore things up. North Carolina FC should be out of sight in this game. Should be 3 or 4-0. Missed some great opportunities on the counter. He spins out for a goal kick. Suddenly the lead much more precarious. This is another interesting test for North Carolina FC now. Can they maintain their composure after conceding a goal and seeing their lead sliced in half? Connor Doyle stealing more yards than the referee is going to allow. He's saying this is where you whistled the foul, wasn't it? 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Doyle wants to get on with this and does, and Gallardo given space to deliver across. Holliday stays on his line and it flashes wide, and the foul was given anyway. Boy, Nicholas Holliday suddenly not looking all that confident coming off his line. He stayed rooted to it after he started to come a half step. Nelson Flores Blanco staying down. The referee was signaling for treatment. Flores Blanco now getting back up. I think the referee is telling him you have to go off to the touchline for treatment since you stayed down. Flores Blanco was trying to say, no, I'm okay, but Jervis Adagana is making sure that protocol is followed. Well, if you're Union Omaha, you want to put as many crosses in to the top of that 6-yard box as possible over these final several minutes. That's given away in the midfield, and Connor Doyle can come forward. And Noe Meza can attack. Meza switches onto his right. It's Meza with his right over the bar. And suddenly Union Omaha looking dangerous every time they get on the ball. Suddenly North Carolina FC not looking quite so confident. That wasn't too far away, but he's frustrated he couldn't keep that down. Stefan Mueller comes in for the final few minutes. He replaces Marco Milanese. Another attacking change. Referee, I think, did blow for a foul there, taken right away. That was a good block by Luis Arriaga. The throw for Omaha, taken quickly by Mueller. Suahi. Good ping out wide. Chested down by Doyle. Put on top of Holliday, who takes cleanly. A sigh of relief for now for North Carolina FC and their fans. Today's goal kick didn't travel all that far, and it's going to come right back at them. Good feet by Gallardo again. Falls to Dos Santos, blocked. Well, he didn't need a second invitation. Here's Gallardo. Gallardo skipping through again. Gallardo into the box, toward the end line, ran away from him. Who is that off last? It's a goal kick. Good defending in the end after Gallardo had danced his way through those waves of red defenders. Couldn't get past the last one. NCFC trying to hang on for a massive 3 points. It would be their second win of the season. Oh, Holiday puts that straight out into touch. Bit of a rough second half for the bright young talent. Summersall forward. Summersall again. Oh, this is good work by Raheem Summersall. Neatly done. Chris Lou Young played really well on that right side, playing on a yellow card since very early in this match. This is exactly what North Carolina need, a spell of possession to calm things down and milk this clock. We'll find out how much stoppage time we'll have in just a moment. That was an important touch from Nelson Flores Blanco, right to Preston Pop. Flores Blanco again. Will he take it to the corner flag? He does. Dispossessed though. Omaha have to go the length of the pitch. We've almost played the 90. Still waiting on the announcement of stoppage time. Doyle. What a ball forward that is. Meza has Gallardo ahead of him and uses him. And Gallardo pings it out to Mueller, but put too much on it. The 90 minutes have elapsed. We still don't have an announcement of how much stoppage time we're going to see, because first, North Carolina FC are making a change. That's Gustavo Fernandez who checks in for stoppage time.
Substitution in the 90th minute for North Carolina coming off the pitch.
5 minutes is the stoppage time we're hearing.
Number 7, Luis Arriaga.
Luis Arriaga, the player, subbed off. So Fernandez for Arriaga in the 91st. So there's the announcement of the additional 5 minutes. Preston Pop able to win a throw. NCFC will milk every second of this, as they should. Mensingen and Perez in the first half, 3rd and 43rd minutes. Gallardo in the 84th for Omaha. Nelson Flores Blanco just letting that roll past him. This is good for North Carolina FC, winning a sequence of throws, taking their sweet time about each. That's what you're supposed to do when you're in this kind of situation. They'll have another. No, Union Omaha throw. I'm not sure about that. Could be a big one. Would have been another 30 seconds or so off the clock. Instead, it's given away. NCFC, can they finally find that killer third? It's Preston Pop. He's bundled over. Free kick. That's a really bad foul to give away by Suwahi. Palacios, excuse me. Push in the back. Clear as day. That's exactly what North Carolina FC want. Preston Pop's been good. He's been bright since coming on in this second half. I mean, that's as obvious as it gets. What are you doing if you're Junior Palacios there? NCFC are going to be able to take a full minute or so off this clock as they stand over this free kick. Shaq Adams, the man around it. Does he go for goal here? Does he ping it to the corner? 4-man wall in front of him. It is Adams on goal. Fairly simple for Nuhu. But only a couple minutes of the 5 remaining now. Can the Owls create one more chance at an equalizer? They have a throw, 2 minutes to go. Mueller takes it. Short to Mesa. One back by NCFC. They spring another counterattack. Shaq Adams trying to give it in the path to McLaughlin. Couldn't do it. It wasn't commanded by Brewer. It's all the way back to Sawahi, who gives it away. But the referee's whistle had blown for something. That was confusing. 90 seconds to go. I think offside was the call. Pumped forward by the Owls. Flicked along. Bouncing ball. Out comes Holiday. And he goes to the ground and will try to eat up as much of this remaining time as possible. Well, since the 84th minute free kick goal by Gallardo, he had the one further shot by Mesa that curled over the bar. Omaha still not able to create much else. Final minute of the 5. Who is that off last? I believe it went off Mesa. It is a throw for the visitors. They are almost there. That stays in play. Volleyed along by Dolabella. Into the box. Steinwasser trying to keep it in. He cannot. It is a corner. Off NCFC last. A late Modelo corner kick for Union Omaha. Probably their last chance to salvage something from this game. It would be an extremely unlikely point. Gallardo to take. His delivery has to be good. Pops it up into the air. Back post. Flicks out. It's another corner. One more Modelo corner kick, this time from the near flag. And Gallardo hustling across to take it as well. It'll have to be an outswinger since he's right-footed. Or will it? No, he's going to take it with his left. Last chance for Union Omaha. Gallardo near post, flicked along. The heads are up. It loops over the bar. It's out. It's a goal kick. That should just about do it. There's the final whistle. It's a massive 3 points on the road for North Carolina FC. The visitors come to the home of Union Omaha, score 2 first-half goals, hang on down the stretch, and they defeat the Owls today by 2-1. Well, a late flurry from Union Omaha. Joe Gallardo is our Platinum Chiropractic Man of the Match. He scored the only Nebraska lottery goal for Union Omaha today with that 84th minute free kick. The Owls will feel that overall they probably didn't create as much in the second half as they would like to when chasing a game. They'll be frustrated that they had to chase the game in the first place, giving away a penalty just 30 seconds in that changed the whole feel of the rest of the day. And then conceding late in the first half as Luis Perez given space on the counterattack, and his deflected effort went in, which you always knew would make Omaha's second half task that much more difficult. It's a great victory for the visitors, who do indeed lay down a marker and show the rest of the league how much improved they are this season. They are not going to finish bottom of the table for a third straight year. That seems almost certain. They've taken 3 points today. We're back with your final highlights and your wrap-up after this.
My name is Connor Doyle, and I'm a midfielder with Union Omaha. I was excited. It was obviously not a big reason why I came here, but Jay mentioned it as being a possibility of once joining the team, it was going to be a partnership with the club, and getting towards the end of my career, it was obviously a thing that I wanted to look towards finishing my degree, and so with the chance of getting a scholarship and kind of getting those things paid for, it was definitely pretty exciting and special. Like I said, I'm kind of nearing the end of my career in the next few years, and so it's kind of looking forward to that next step in life, and degrees go a big way in helping people make those next steps, so it's kind of the reason why I decided to finally get back into it. It's a big deal, because you know, there's guys like Yoskar who have the chance to kind of go pro at 18, but also you could go to a college and get a 4-year degree and maybe have a scholarship that way, but this gets things paid for, and he can be in a professional environment from from a young age and learn. And so I think that's a big deal in terms of getting guys up through kind of the academy and stuff, and you can still promise them a degree and an education along with being in a professional environment. My name is Connor Doyle, and I am a Bellevue University student.
Strong performance from North Carolina FC today as they go on the road and defeat Union Omaha 2-1. Let's see our final highlights from our 90 minutes today. NCFC getting on the board very early. It was an ideal start for them. 30 seconds in, Olex Anderson winning this penalty in the box. The Owls disagreed, but Rafa Menzingen mercilessly finished it, sending Rashid Nuhu the wrong way, slamming it into that opposite corner. And it was 1-0 after just 2.5 minutes. And NCFC controlled most of the rest of the day. Omaha had some good moments in the first half. They had one ball cleared off the line. Some other promising sequences that came to nothing. And as they pressed for an equalizer before the half, they got caught on the counter in the 43rd. Luis Perez, plenty of space to shoot, and an unfortunate deflection from Omaha's standpoint, but they'll be frustrated that Perez had this much room to unleash in the first place. It cannoned off the arm of Junior Palacios, down into the ground, up over Nuhu, who was rooted to the spot as he'd started to go down to try to make the save and couldn't get back up in time. That really changed things before halftime and put NCFC in a commanding position. They were able to see out most of the second half very effectively, and they should have scored a third on multiple occasions, like this one here. This ball spread really well by Garrett McLaughlin. Preston Pop going for it with the wrong foot. It left the door open for Omaha, and they almost walked through it. Joe Gallardo in the 84th minute scoring from a free kick. Nicholas Holliday, such a bright young talent, but he'll know he should do better there. That's a ball he should save. Credit Gallardo for putting it on frame. It made it 2-1. Omaha had a late flurry, but couldn't squeeze home that equalizer as North Carolina FC hang on and take all 3 points today. Final stats presented by the Simple Man. 12 shots for North Carolina to 11 for Omaha, both sides with 5 on target. The Owls wind up with 69% possession, but NCFC making their 31% count. And that's what you have to do on the road. 5 cards for NCFC, 4 for Omaha. We finished 11 on 11, which after the first 20 minutes, I'm not sure you would have thought that would be the case. But North Carolina FC do indeed make a statement. Talked about them showing the rest of the league that they are much improved this year. That's exactly what we saw today. For our entire great crew, hope you enjoyed it today. I'm Donnie Barnes saying good afternoon from a rainy and windy Caniglia Field in Omaha, Nebraska, where it finishes today, North Carolina FC 2, Union Omaha 1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.